Middleweight bout here, Chad Hanekom coming in at even money against Dylan Budka. Sit at minus 140. Budka 6-2, 4-1 in his last 5. Hanekom 9-2, 4-1 in his last 5. You see the height difference there, 6'4" frame for Hanekom, pretty dang good for the weight class. 6 foot for Budka, and fighting out of South Africa. If you look at his record, his 2 losses come to Daniel Pereira in Brave CF and the one and only Ikram Aliskerov. It was a split decision loss back in 2018. He's been fighting a lot in the Brave CF promotion, and that was his first fight in Brave. It was a split decision loss to who is now fighting Nazardine Imavov, UFC 294, I believe. I mean, it's not a bad loss. The loss to Pereira is not like a terrible loss either. I mean, he was 8-2 at the time. So, I mean, I think he's been fighting some pretty decent competition in Brave CF. And he's coming in here against Dylan Budka, who I don't really want to say his competition has been that great. But he has fought in the LFA, and he's gotten a couple wins in the LFA and 1 loss. And his only loss is a split decision to Azamat Bekoev, who is 16-3. So he's pretty damn good as well. Who are you liking in this one? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one to really decipher based off of how they fight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think, just diving into film and looking at the whole picture, like the whole well-roundedness, I do think Hanekom is probably the more relentless wrestler. Adam, I mean, he's a little more explosive and he's super strong. And you said is Budka on short notice? Hold on, I got to pull up my other.
Yeah, he was
it was supposed to be Rouston.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just coming in here on short notice against a wrestler, like maybe you're not in shape. Can you even hang that long without a camp and stuff? I like Hanekom here. I think he's powerful enough on the feet to even find the KO. Like, he throws hard, and when he connects, he can land pretty well. And on the ground, he's got a lot of submissions. And so if he can just get the takedowns, get Budka tired, who's on short notice, I think he wins the fight. But I mean, Budka, like you said, he has fought some decent competition. He does have a grappling pedigree himself. He could make it interesting for a while, but I think as this fight goes on, Hanekom's just going to be the more prepared fighter, better shape, and overall maybe get a late submission.
Yeah, I could see a lot of cage work, maybe just a lot of grappling exchanges in this one because Budka has the wrestling pedigree. And Hanekom being 6'4", if you're a wrestler and you're fighting a bigger dude, you're probably just going to want to start wrestling. He's 23 years old. Budka is. Hanekom, I would want to think he wants to stay at range and maybe land that right hand or look for some knockouts. But if you watch the fight with him against Aliskerov, it was a pretty close fight. I mean, it was a split decision. 2 of the judges had it 30-27 for Ikram. One of the judges had 29-28 for Hanekom. If you watch the fight, like, they were all pretty close rounds. It wasn't anything that was like significantly one way or the other, but that was like 5 years ago too. So his most recent performances do look pretty good, but his last time out, he fought a wrestler out of South Korea who was 11-1, he was 11-1, and Hanekom knocked him out in the first with an elbow. But if you look at that guy, it's Injala. He's a wrestler. All 10 of his 11 wins have come by decision. So he's just taking you down. He's pretty much laying on you. So he doesn't have much of a stand-up game whatsoever. I would expect Budka to have a little bit better of a stand-up game. I'm going to go with Hanekom as well because I do think he's a little bit more explosive. He's been training for this fight with a full camp. So I'm going to go with him. Better frame. He just got to stuff takedowns and not fall into that trap of getting into a wrestling match.
Yeah, and I do think, like, if you look at his record and you kind of watch the tape, he's getting a lot of his submissions earlier in his career where he's fighting guys that are 0-0, 0-2, 1-2, and he's just kind of overpowering them and finding submissions that way. Yeah. But as of late, yeah, the power on the feet. He's got some insane KOs if you watch his highlight tape. The dude has some power, so I wouldn't be shocked if you see an early finish here too, because if he connects, it can be devastating.
That South African power, man. Yeah. Drake has showed Rob.
The new Drake is.
So I'll go with the South African.